I grew up in a strong Baptist environment. My father's parents were both missionaries in Mexico. My mother's parents are pastor and pastor's wife at West End Baptist Church here in Beaumont. So both their influences, it's easy to see why I understood who Jesus is and why I needed to be saved. I wasn't saved yet, but I did understand why I needed him. I remember the exact date that I asked God to come into my heart, that I asked Jesus to come into my heart, January 8th, 2004. My dad's mother, my grandmother, came from Mexico to visit our family. We were sitting on the couch, talking, and all of a sudden, I started talking about Jesus, God, and salvation. I told my grandma that I wanted to be saved. She said, okay, and she led me through the prayer and helped me ask Jesus into my heart. So then I was saved. Later I was baptized. And then my life was the same after that. Same as before. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, I went to church. I wasn't a different person. I was just like, now I just had Jesus in my heart, and that was it. My life was the same. One thing I looked forward to most was church camp. Every summer we would go somewhere and just talk about Jesus and worship him for 3 or 4 days straight. Just discussing and worshiping Jesus. As I went through middle school and high school, I entered a little mild rebellious stage. Not a severe rebellious stage where like I hate the world and stuff. No, it's just personal self-rebellion. I started cussing every day, and I hung out with people who weren't Christians and who didn't follow God. Just focused on worldly things and worldly activities, and I participated with them. That happened throughout middle school and some of high school. After a while, I started to notice that my life became sad and depressing. On the outside, I was still happy and cheerful, but inside something was missing. I was saved, but I didn't really follow God. I just labeled myself as a Christian, and that was it. I started praying to God, and I asked him, why is my life becoming so depressed? Why? I'm a Christian. I didn't really understand that. If you are a Christian, that means actions are important. Not just labeling yourself a Christian, not saying you're a Christian, but you have to follow God and be active. So I asked God why my life is so sad and depressing, what's going on? So I just went through that, and finally I just one day asked God to please take me out of that situation and just help me get back to you again. And he said, okay, fine. And he did. The situation I was in was completely changed, and now on the inside I was truly happy again. When I went to college, when I started going to Lamar, I stopped going to church because I had no motivation. I was lazy, I was sleepy. I preferred to just stay in bed on Sunday morning. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go to church. I preferred to sleep. I had no motivation. For 3 months straight, I didn't go to church. After 3 months of not going to church, I realized that I needed to go to church. I needed that fellowship with other people who were Christians and who followed God. So I started looking for a church. I found one. I found a deaf church. Perfect. So I started going, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed worshiping with them and hanging out with them. And I kept going. After a while, I started to feel something was still missing. I wasn't completely satisfied. I wasn't completely happy again. So I kept going to Deaf Church. A while later, I found out Campus Church was established on Wednesday night. So now my schedule was Sunday night I went to Deaf Church, and Wednesday night I would start going to Campus Church. After a while, I just fell in love with Campus Church, and I became fully immersed in it. What was missing in Deaf Church, I found at Campus Church. And now I was happy, I was satisfied. It felt like coming home. I love Campus Church. It was specifically what I needed. A year later, now I'm on leadership for Campus Church, and I truly believe that this is where God wanted me to be. Hi, my name is Allie Hayes, and this is my story.